I don't want to get too personal with a business um, communication. So, I mean, this is my wallet. It's kind of personal, but the wear on it is important because the people who are backing 4x7 are backing the testing of us. We test these things extensively, and extendedly for a very long time if we can, so that you guys don't have to do that. So that when you pick up the plans we have and you follow our manufacturing method, but you add your art and your creativity and your customers and your profits, and you keep us out of the loop from there on out, and you do that, one of the things you're getting with your work in the community is our testing. We'll test these things. Now, a big question has come up, and that's, what about liability of these things? If you're doing the testing and we're just makers of these things, who's liable for it? The answer, I don't know. I don't. But, you can't let the fear of these things keep you from doing good stuff, important stuff. You can't let fear stop you from doing this work. Okay, it's like anything else in your design practice. Sometimes you're going to take on a design job that is going to possibly ruin your career or ruin your standing in that particular city's design community, and it happens for the weirdest reasons. I mean, it can happen because you chose to use 50% magenta and 30% yellow when the rest of the industry is going a completely different direction. They're going the 30% cyan, 30% black route, that real monochrome straight up thing. And you might have decided to use a strong color, and for some reason, the way the community was heading there, that's it for you. All right. And you knew it was a risk before you did it. You knew the industry wasn't headed that way and you wanted to do it anyway. The point is, most of the time it doesn't happen like that. Most of the time you make a color decision in your work and it ends up benefiting your graphic design practice and your vision more than it ends up harming it. Okay, so that's the way I look at these products. We're not selling landmines, okay? We're not selling anything that's hurting people. These are simple pocket daily tools and improved small products that are designed to provide a new utility to the people who use it and to provide a new revenue stream to people that previously found it hard to get one with their type of design practice. And because I've been there, I understand the economics of that industry. I was there for a long, long time. My friend and I were talking about what it was like back in those days just the other day. And he's a 4x7 backer. I won't tell you his name, but he's actually backer number 0, which means the very first one. We didn't start at 1, we started at 0. So, that's what the formation. Look, I found this on my desk, unopened. Now, what possibly could the manufacturer of the most extensively used graphic design system in history. I mean, I'm sorry. So the market data is there. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not rich off of this, but I have that. I've sold a massive, massive amount of very, very inexpensive rulers, okay, and color systems. And I'm proud of that. And you know what? I'm even more proud that it's still just a garage band. Okay, that makes me even more proud. So why do I have this? The answer is I don't. If this was mine and I would have gotten it, it would have already been out and I would have been testing the calibration and all of this other stuff. But it's still wrapped because this belonged to my dad. I mean, even in the end, he bought this when he was probably about 92 years old, maybe 93 probably. That even in the end, and because this, as far as I know, is a modern product, Helix. So I could be wrong on the year. I believe this is relatively recently purchased. And that brings up something else. So this was his. He had it for a reason. But that question comes up with me a lot. Um, why do you try to keep away from the existing graphic design tools? Why do you not spend time in that market and learn what people need and learn what they want and move it forward like that? And the reason is because there just isn't time. Okay, with when you bring graphic design tools and graphic design education, and of course graphic design itself, and I don't do graphic design education and I don't do graphic design myself, but graphic design tools are things that I bring to market. Ours is probably the smallest niche of the three. You just have to, there's still an art there, okay? There's still an art as being a graphic designer, all right? And you can tell, I mean, my heart goes out to these graphic designers that can't use their art in their day-to-day work because it's rough. I mean, I've been there when you have so many layers of clientele that they will remove your ability to create a vision. And it's not, they're not doing it because they hate you. They're not doing it deliberately. It's just that when an artist creates something beautiful, people want a piece of it and they want to put themselves in it. And that's the reality of getting paid, man. That's the reality of having a client is you have to share your art with everybody who's paying you. And sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes people come together and somebody who's never seen graphic design before adds something that is key to that process. You know, somebody who's never done typography makes a suggestion that makes it even better. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily work that way. A lot of times people have differing views of different projects. But in going that direction, I felt it in looking at all the competing products, and trying to find where we're going to maneuver Galaxy Gauge into make this new successful product or go off in the direction of software and monetize this and monetize that is just it was never the core purpose of what Galaxy Gauge was. Galaxy Gauge was from its inception the most affordable and precise tool that a graphic designer could use in his or her work. And that's it. And that's all it's ever been. And because of that, it's always going to be a small product. I mean, look, I've always had plans to make an actual functional t-shirt that had processed color on the shirt as a Galaxy Gauge product so that you can actually wear this thing and actually use it as a reference for using 4-color process in your thing. And we have our own color models and they're built into desktop publishing software that other people have. You know, this is all part of what you have to do if you're going to do a color. This is what we do. This is what Pantone does. Shadler does it. See-Through does it. This company, Helix, I assume they might be doing it where they do it. I don't know the company that well. But these are all things you have to do. The question is, do you monetize them? In our case, we chose not to monetize them because we felt it wasn't part of our core direction. Okay, so 4bySeven is part of that core direction. This is a tool for graphic designers and artists, okay, who feel comfortable. And I'm not demeaning artists. I'm just saying that this is a market they're far more comfortable in, okay, than graphic designers. A graphic designer in typical, many of us really don't have an easy time of marketing, okay? And part of the reason is the low-hanging fruit has been taken already. And the low-hanging fruit is, I mean, you know what the low-hanging fruit is, a graphic designer. Somebody's usually got it, okay? And there's new low-hanging fruit. It's out there, and you guys are probably going to see your own 4bySeven projects and the work that you do. Hopefully you bring them into the 4bySeven community. But there's a lot of 4bySeven products right now that are low-hanging fruit, and this is one of them. So where do we stand now? Okay. I was going to not to get personal. Of course, that's what I did. The reason I was getting personal is to tell you there's a rip, okay? So this wallet, this 4bySeven test model number 1, this might be test model number 2. The first one was used for no more than a day for some reason. I remember I didn't like the design or something. But this is the main extended test model. This is the one that's been in my pocket for months. I have my winning Colorado lottery ticket in there. I won $7 on that one. There's proof that your old pal Mike can be lucky sometimes. Okay. And it's full of my stuff. This started out with just cards and stuff, but this is what happens after a while. You end up with, oh, yeah, that's the stuff. Let's see if there's a website on here. There's no website, but let me see. Is there an email address? There's no email address. Okay, but text message, dude, Roger. See, Roger, I'm so sorry. Wait, am I not allowed to put phone numbers on the internet? Just Google it, man. Red Brick Seasoning. Make sure you get the one in Grand Junction, Colorado. Okay? Okay. Get the one in Grand Junction, Colorado. Don't get the one in Golden, Colorado. Okay. All right. All right. Made in Golden, baby. Golden, Colorado. We're all about manufacturing here. Mostly beer, to be true. But we got some other manufacturing going on in Golden. Made in Golden, baby. Okay. See that? Now, here's the interesting part. It didn't split all the way down the way my old synthetic sheets would. So we have this little tear in here. I could probably repair it with a piece of tape. I'm probably going to, just Scotch tape. And I'll try to get to that later. This did not tear the same as my full synthetic sheet, because it used to be with the old synthetic sheet would tear, it would just be completely lost. And I think the reason is this material we use has some paper pulp in it. Okay. And I think that the paper pulp is providing that matrix that's preventing it from slitting all the way down. It needs to have the paper pulp in there to be able to absorb the electrical charge, the chemical energy, and the heat from the laser printer. It has to be there, because if you run other material through your laser printer, it melts. When you run this material through your laser printer, the heat can distort it sometimes to a degree, but it's still usable. All right. I mean, you're talking about maybe if it was presentation, you might want to go to a copy shop that has their machines run somewhat cooler than a regular old-fashioned cheapy desktop laser printer, but it's definitely perfectly usable. And when you fold into a 4x7, you'll never see it. Okay. It needs to have that wood matrix in there to absorb the chemical energy, because plastic essentially being a hydrocarbon, I believe I'm not a big chemist guy, but I think it's a hydrocarbon, has a molecule that's already very energy dense, to put it the way that I understand it as a physicist. There's a lot of hydrogen in there. When you burn plastic, you have a lot of these secondary reactions. You have carbon coming out of it. It's a messy thing to burn, because there's just so much energy packed into hydrocarbons, like methane. Gasoline is a hydrocarbon. Diesel is a hydrocarbon. These are all hydrocarbons, just energy. Actually, I don't know, is plastic actually a hydrocarbon? I think it is. I mean, it's made of hydrocarbons, right? It's made of oil. Okay, but it may not be a hydrocarbon because it might have some other stuff mixed in with it. So hydrocarbon is hydrogen and carbon. And plastic definitely has something else mixed in with it. So it can no longer be a hydrocarbon. Okay, but still, it's made of hydrocarbons. We know this. Plastic is made of hydrocarbons. All right, so it has a bad name, right? Straws get stuck in tortoises' nostrils. All right, I get it. We're not going to get into the whole how bad is plastic thing, because plastic has also saved millions of lives in developing nations by allowing people to bring water long distances at a very light weight, by allowing solar distillation. Okay, in the United States of America, I'm on it. I agree. Let's limit our plastic waste. As part of this 4x7 project, you'll actually save the trimmings. And we have a bunch of plastic recycling projects, tons of good stuff, okay, as 4x7 adventures. All right, there's a lot of that, okay? But in the United States of America, okay, we don't, if a child gets diarrhea, it doesn't have a 50-50 chance of dying from it, okay? And that's reality in developing nations. So we can't murder the global plastics market. It's needed. We have to have plastics. It's saving energy as far as transport, and maybe we'll find a better way to transport strawberries. It would be wonderful. Banana leaves, I don't know, whatever it takes. Maybe we'll start shipping them green and we'll let them ripen in the sun at the supermarket. Again, I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff, okay? But for right now, we're using strawberry packaging that's made of plastic. If they can change it and make something that's biodegradable and uses less energy than plastic and less chlorine waste into the water, like from other materials, all right, and an overall better energy signature, and it's better for people in developing nations because it's more affordable, please bring it on. I think it's awesome. I know there's those materials out there. I'm positive they exist. I think we just have to look at the full cycle use of that product. So the other day I saw a disposable paper cooler. So it's made of paper and you put your ice in there. And I think that's an awesome idea. But the question is, are people buying it for the right reasons? Okay. If you look at the entire energy signature of how much energy it took to make, what's the lifetime of these things? 5 days, 3 days? I don't know. Does anybody use these disposable paper coolers for more than, say, a month? I mean, as far as I know, they're like, people tend to buy them for one use. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, that's when I see people buying in the supermarket, they seem to be buying them for one use. So how does that compare to a styrofoam that's made of plastic and styrofoam, but the thing is used for 15 years? And that paper's cycling through 15 years. These questions don't have easy answers. You've got to use computers, and it's difficult. And the people that do this work, they do a good job of it. It's the Energy Information Center. Energy Information. I mean, it's a division of not just the DOE. I think the Energy Information Center. No, wait. God, I'm supposed to know all this stuff. Energy Information Agency. Okay, go look it up. This is they do the research in energy information. Okay, so there's all this data that needs to be gathered, and it takes a long, long time to be able to figure out how to do it. What actually is the energy cost of a gallon of gasoline made with X refineries method versus a gallon of gasoline made from Y refineries method? Just that simple question is a remarkably complex question. You could spend a year really figuring out which one is more efficient, but ultimately, and the Energy Information Agency relies on this, it is ultimately a measurable, repeatable, usable metric that we've used in the United States of America and Europe and all over the world to improve our energy infrastructure. We've made things more efficient. We're improving things insanely. Like the efficiency of our electrical devices, of the envelopes in our homes, of the engines we use, of the processes that we use to make the energy and transmit energy has risen. I'm going to have to describe a shape here for a line, but I don't really want to say something's wrong. I honestly don't know whether it's been an exponential rise of some kind. I don't think it has. In fact, I'm positive it's not been exponential. It's been, and it definitely hasn't been linear. It's been, here's the line that I remember seeing, okay? And that was pretty good. That's remarkable. When you think that we came from, that efficiency is such a new science. It really is. I know people have always thought about efficiency for, if I can find an animal that can plow my field and eats 50% less oats, that's going to be an animal I'm interested. We developed animals to be efficient in a way as our beasts of burden. And now we have engines, electrical and internal combustion, sometimes open combustion, that are our new beasts of burden. And this is a brand new science. We're talking about something that's roughly 100 years old. Maybe a tiny bit longer, not that much longer, because there were engines back there and there were studies of efficiency. Carnot and these guys were, and Otto Cycle, all these guys, that made the pioneers of thermodynamics unfortunately, I don't remember my history well enough, but the pioneers of thermodynamics were working on this stuff a lot longer than 100 years ago. Okay. But as far as it being an industry with sufficient market penetration that could afford to actually look at the efficiency of these things, that's pretty new. That's like, that started around the time of the Model T and somewhat before, because that was when, so the British invented, I was like, there's this classic question in manufacturing: who made the first mill, or how do you make the first mill? It's almost like a chicken or egg thing. How did they make the first mill? There was no milling machine to make the first mill. How did they make it? Did they go from wood-centered machines? Because machines used to had cogs and stuff made of wood, and hand stuffing to start doing more precise work and make this first precision milling machine. Well, the answer is, it turns out the British made the first lead screw, and the lead screw was used to make everything else. Okay, and in making that lead screw, and a lead screw is a very carefully cut screw that guides the milling machine and the lathe and all the other machines that make everything we use, that forms the tools that we use that are surrounding us in everything we have, from inside the laser printer to what makes the box on the computer, to the case on my wristwatch, to the mold that's used to shape the box of plastic for the box of strawberries, for the machine that stamps out the dog food pellets that we put in our dog bowl. All of this stuff is traced back to that lead screw that Britain cut by hand. And it was a top secret project. I think it took them like 7 years to make this screw, or longer even. I mean, I can't even imagine how difficult it was to get work of that precision. And because they did that, they then owned, in a sense, the machine age. This became theirs because they controlled, they were, sick. They knew it wasn't going to be much. They knew once they started making machines with this perfectly made lead screw, and those machines obviously making other lead screws, I don't think they wanted to touch the masters. The master was almost like a standard, like a standard of a kilogram. Although now I think they've gotten rid of the actual kilogram standard. I think they've come up with a relativistic way of deciding it. I don't know the full details of whether it was relativistic. I think it would have had to have been relativistic of some kind. And it probably needed some kind of relativistic correction in it, at least. Sorry, that was some news. The kilogram was the last remaining standard that actually needed a standard sealed under glass sitting in a thing. And I think recently they came up with a way of repeated. It was pretty good research, as far as I know. This is really complicated stuff. That they came up with a way of creating this thing numerically. Okay, defining a kilogram numerically. It's the best way of describing it. Okay, so this lead screw that Britain made would have been encased in glass, and it would have then made the other lead screws, and then these lead screws then made machines that made lead screws, and then those lead screws would then make lathes, and they would make milling machines, and all of the stuff of the machine age had before that lead screw was essentially handmade. Essentially, there was some other machine stuff. There was some tools that they could get around, but it was essentially handmade. And sometimes there were machines that made other parts, but those machines were handmade. Okay. And this was the first time, traced back to that single lead screw, that the position of the cutting tool could be so precise that it could be repeated. And you could give this operator a card and say, okay, you cut this rod of steel. I want you to cut the next 50 rods of steel the same way. And if he followed those numbers, he would get a rod that was cut exactly the same way as the previous ones. That was a big, big deal. Joe, chill out, man. What, I got a package? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I want to get a package. I might have to sign for a package. Okay. So that launched essentially the machine age, is being able to turn. It wasn't just that the machines were better. It was that suddenly the humans were better. Okay. You could have one human that could make a remarkably repeatable cut time after time after time. It was because of that lead screw, because of the repeatability of that lead screw. Before that lead screw, you had to be a good toolist. Oh, geez. Chill out for a second. Let me see. I got a package. Thank you, Chevy. Thank you for protecting us from the packages. Oh, you're a good girl. Come here, Chevy. All right. Yeah, thank you. You did a good job. Yeah, you did. You're a good girl. You protected us. Okay. All right. Okay, so lead screw. Britain owned, they knew they wouldn't own the machine age. They couldn't possibly own the machine age, but they knew they would have a 20, 30, 40-year jump on the rest of the world. They calculated, and that was probably one of the easiest calculations of this thing, that when they made this screw and it started getting out into the world, that they would have a jump. Okay, so, hey honey, you gotta chill out. She's just pacing around like a wolf. All right, what was back there when I moved? Could you guys see me? Okay, I had that painting there. I love that painting. I'll get it another day. Okay, okay, suddenly machinists were repeatable. This pacing around is really unnerving to me. She's just pacing back and forth with her nails on the wooden floor. Okay, all right, we're just gonna chill, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, all right, I'll pet the dog. Okay, all right, here we go. Petting her head. Yeah, maybe she'll. All right, so these operators suddenly became remarkably more efficient than they ever could. Okay, because you could get somebody fresh out of high school, or back then high school, I guess the top. Who knows? You could get an adult with relatively little education, and you could put them in front of this machine. You could have them follow the numbers, and they could figure it out and make some incredibly complicated and sophisticated devices. You know, the inline four engine from a Model T is not remarkably different from an inline four that's in an Acura right now. The inline four in the Acura has all kinds of extra stuff bolted onto it. It's true. It's increased performance. It's increased efficiency. It's lower emissions. It's better response. It's less environmental impact. It's, geez, what is it? And it's a lot. It's lighter. I mean, but the fundamental core operation of that inline four in that Acura and the inline four in the Ford Model T, essentially the same. It's essentially the same machine. Okay, we haven't dramatically changed our approach to the way that we internally combust gasoline. This is a product of the machine age. Okay, in Little Tools for Graphic Designers, I would like to approach our work in a way that re-examines design the way that the piezoelectric expansion chamber affects Ford's original engine. And that's what we need as designers. That's what we have to have, okay? Because you can't, if you got into this field because you wanted a chance to communicate with people and connect with them. And if you go into your job and it's sucking every last bit of life out of you, you know, as you're working 28-hour weeks because if they pay you, if you work an extra 3 hours, they'll have to cover your health insurance. I don't know what they do these days. I just know being a graphic designer often means you're subject to a life of poverty, and we still do it because we love it. And it's not the kind of poverty that is real poverty, but it's just palpable and it sucks. Okay. If you're going to live that life because you love design, you need to have something in your life that just can reliably put a few bucks in your pocket. Okay, when you need them without having to go cancel your vacation because some client called up, you need to have some level of control over it, that you can turn the switch on and off as you need to, so that when you're busy, you're not beholden to this mail order business like on Etsy. I love their business model, and it's great if you're a full-timer, but when you're a part-timer, it's difficult because it's hard to shut that down. When people love what you do, they're going to keep coming to you. They're going to keep, your business is going to grow, and it's hard to keep that craft type model from becoming your main business. So when you're busy doing the kind of work you love, you then don't have to do the kind of work you don't love. And that's can go either direction. It can be there are some graphic designers in there that love Etsy, and they're so glad that they don't have to do client work anymore. But there are also some graphic designers on Etsy who are happy enough for the income stream from Etsy, but they miss their client work. That's just reality. Okay, because the quality of the work they make that's on Etsy is so high, people keep coming to them every day, and they keep buying more and more stuff, and their career may be successful, they may have a lot of money, but they're not necessarily going in the direction that they originally planned. And maybe there's sometimes some of them are fine with that, some of them have a little bit of sadness. With my Aunt Reggie. I love that photo. This was the car that was with it. Sonotone. That was my dad's company. He worked there as an employee. Sonotone, Sonotone. Stick that thing in your ear. We'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if you can hear. The salesman back then, it was a big deal, man. Being a salesman back in the day. Oh, what could there have been a better life? Seriously, you get to hang out with all the other salesmen. You have these like body rhymes and stuff like against your own product that you've just know and love. Every Sonotone salesman was probably happy to be part of Sonotone. Every machinist. What an incredibly interesting card. Look at this. Look at this. Holy crap. Oh my God. What is it? It's so horrible and beautiful at the same time. Oh my God. That is insane. Oh my word. What artist did this? It's signed. It says a little signature down there. Oh my word, this is amazing. I think this was an artist print. And I think it was a caricature of an actual band. I'll bet you this was a caricature of an actual band. Wow. Okay. Okay. So we have this little tear. I'm probably going to tape it up. This is the wear on this wallet after about 6 months or so, I'm guessing. I don't know the exact time. Maybe it's been less. Maybe it's been 3 months. We'll have to go back and check the tape. But it's been in my pocket. It's been a daily companion, and I've really loved it. This is about the time when a regular wallet gets just about broken in and you start kind of not caring about it anymore, and maybe another month or two, depending on the material, will be when you would replace it. Not everybody's the same. Some people have the same wallet for 15 years. Okay, but there's this is my dad's coin case. Everybody probably has seen some of these, right? Okay, so this leather coin case is probably, I'm guessing, well, I mean, it's very old, of course. It's probably about 60 years old, but it was in his pocket probably for about, no, it's not 60 years. It's probably 50 years old or 30 years old, something like, no, 40 years old, because it has plastic thing. It's probably like a Tandy craft thing. I might have even made this for him. Holy smokes, I think I made this for my dad. Or maybe it was my sister who made it for him. It's probably my sister. She was always better with that. My older sister always made like crafts and stuff for my dad. Anyway, I'm guessing this was in his pocket for probably 5-6 years, minimum. It probably was longer than that. So leather wears really well. That's just the reality of it. Now, as far as what is the energy life cycle analysis of how much energy and cost in the meat industry. If you're a vegan, obviously that's important to you, that leather wallet takes versus a paper one. We'll have to do the numbers. We'll have to do the research. That's way beyond what I'm capable of doing right now, which is help get this thing started. We will try to continue to use the best possible choices in the paper, and we'll continue to present recycling paths for all of our industrial waste. So industrial waste doesn't have to be a bad thing. Industrial waste can be a very valuable thing if you do it right, if you save it, if you're able to repackage it in another type of product that is useful. And for the most part, industrial waste, if you find industries for industrial waste that use it, that help you avoid something else, using something else, then you've avoided having to make that other stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of industrial waste in the raspberry industry. I think that there's the little stems and all that are always coming off. That's an industrial waste. There's a lot of when you get a cauliflower, there's a lot of green stuff that is folds up around the cauliflower that protects it when it's being shipped. But when it gets to the supermarket, it's all cut off. It has to be presentable, and we typically tend not to like to buy fruits and vegetables that don't look a certain way. The ones that are in your supermarket have been groomed somewhat to be that way. It used to be, I remember when I was a kid, the best apple you could have was one that had a little stem and one leaf attached to it. I haven't seen that in ages, like at the supermarket. Maybe they're just too hard to pick. I don't find something to do with the harvesting method. I don't really know. And it could be that we just, some famous person one time bit into an apple that had a leaf with the stem on it, and there was a worm inside, and there you go. There's the end of that as the visual cue of a perfect apple. Okay, but right now with 4bySeven, the beginnings of this. Okay, I started it, some previous one, and I had to close down the funding of it because it wasn't working out. Okay, so I redid it a second time, and this time I have a dedicated channel just for not 4bySeven videos. I'm not a great communicator, as you can tell by this long rambling thing. It's not about that. It's more about the structure of the product itself. So I'm going to have a dedicated channel just for 4bySeven. Okay, that's the goal anyway. I moved it over. I restarted again on half the time, and it's almost there. I think it's like $120 or something. I think in my head, I'm like, you know, at some point somebody in the future may watch this video. I'm sorry. At some point, somebody in the future.com may watch this video and say, wait a minute, you mean the entire value of 4bySeven was $130 US in 2019? And I'd say, yeah, that's right. That's about right. Yeah. Would you have sold it for $130? Nah, man. Hell no. No, absolutely not. I'm not abandoning. No, this is my path. Okay. And Galaxy Gauge is going to be a part of this. It has to be, because I have a lot of Galaxy Gauge orders to get out and I'm sitting here and I'm not packing up orders where I should be. Okay. So Galaxy Gauge is a big part of this. It really is. But 4bySeven is not part of Galaxy Gauge. It's not. It's an independent, separate product. Okay. And just like our Galaxy Gauge tools made your life easier and better, I hope, and probably most of you, that's the case. I'm sure there's a few of you that have, my products have made your life a living nightmare. And to you folks, I deeply apologize. Please give me a call sometime and tell me what I did so I can make it up to you. Okay, I apologize. Really, I do. Okay, I want my products to be a positive force. So if any of my products have not been good to you guys, please let me know how I can make it up to you. All right, but I'm sticking with it, and I'm not going to sell 4bySeven for $130. I should be tapping the computer. Okay. What news do we have with the thing? Okay. So that's fun at $130. It's basically ready to go. Some of the original backers came over. I lost most of them, unfortunately, but there was really no other way of doing this. So if you're one of the original backers, go please, please, please go to your Kickstarter account and read the update that's in there, because there's a code in there that you need, and you're going to enter it into the current 4x7. And when you do that, there's a thing I'm giving you guys. It's in your email. I'm not going to spread the thing. Just go look in your backers thing, and I'm going to say what. Just make sure you use the code when you back in the new one, and I will take care of y'all. Okay? Do we have any other future 4x7 projects? We do. Many, many. I'm not going to get into that right now. Some of them are so nice. Oh, man. Where's my keys? Oh, look at. I can't. I'm not going to go all into it. Oh, you just we gotta wait. Oh, nobody's watching this anyway. Who cares? This one's going to be nice. That's going to be nice. And this one. Oh, man. This one's going to be nice. Yeah, man. That one's going to be nice. That one's going to be nice, man. Oh, man. You guys are just going to have a blast with this stuff, man. I wish this opportunity was available to me when I was you guys' age. You know, you had life by the horns, man. It was all just in front of you. It's all in front of you guys. And you had no idea what you had. Oh, it's like you could do anything. You could do anything. And it's tough. It's real rough, man. It's so tough. I'm going to try to help you with the tough parts because I've been there. All right? I'm not going to be like a life-changing force or anything, okay? But if your old pal Mike, all right, helps you put $10 in your pocket so that you can get yourself some sushi, not even a lot of sushi, just like a little bit of sushi, all right? If your old pal Mike can put $10 in your pocket so you can get like a nice bowl of ceviche or poke or escabeche, right? Or maybe if you're like, you know, like Brazilian fish stew moqueca, right? If it can give you a nice bowl of moqueca, man, yeah, that's right. You remember your old pal Mike. You remember your old pal. Look, if I can get you guys a nice bowl of moqueca, okay, am I pronouncing that right? I don't know enough Spanish, man. I got to return to my heritage, the land of my people. Okay. Okay, if I can help you buy what you need that day that you weren't going to get, okay, just that one day, all right, that's what 4x7, that's the 4x7 promise to you, okay? If Galaxy Gauge is any indication of what 4x7 is going to be, this will be the thing you use. I'm not talking about the wallet right now. I'm talking about 4x7. Here, this represents 4x7, this back scratcher, okay? 4x7, we should make back scratchers. I should send you guys free back scratchers. Oh, that's the rest. Oh, that's the stuff. Everybody needs one of these things, man. Back scratcher. Okay. 4x7's the back scratcher. That's what it is. This is just this little thing you have that incorporates itself into your graphic design life that scratches your back. And it's something you do for you, and you get, and it's something you do for you. It's not going to like, you know, lift you out of the depths of depression, but it feels good while you're doing it. You know, it's just a little something for you. It takes a minute. Oh, that's right. Okay. Just a little, this is just the back scratcher, right? Okay. So this is for you guys. The 4x7 is the back scratcher. Okay. We gotta this. Oh man, come on. Not right now. Look, Saturday Night Live, I remember they did this one skit. It's like, in a change from China, China decided they will no longer use endangered bamboo for chopsticks. And then I don't remember what the comedian was, and she goes, then she turns to the camera. Instead, they will use the bones of Chinese dissidents. That was so. Oh, politics suck. It really does. I have no idea what's happening in China from a real perspective of a Chinese person. Okay. All I know is you guys make the best physicists that I've ever seen. Okay. And I'm not talking about their abilities, but their heart, man. Their heart. It's their heart. Chinese physicists are just like Americans and Russians and the British physicists and the French. We cannot, even the Indian physicists, I'm not exempting them from this. We are scientists, okay? But the Chinese physicists are, to the man and to the woman, artists, okay? They are artists, and they happen to be incredible physicists, like you could not possibly imagine. The stuff they learn is like just so carefully wrought. It's reconstructed in its simplicity, in its brilliance. In the future.com, the number of Chinese physicists as a contribution to our current academic structure, where the contribution line of all major journals will show an exponential rise from the 1970s. Boom. Okay, 4x7, folks. We're almost there, everybody. We're not quite there. It needs another $30. Look, I could back my own thing, but I'm not going to do that. Not going to do it. Okay? I'm not saying it's beneath me to back my own thing. I'm not saying I wouldn't perform a little lowdown snakery to do that, but let's be honest. At $160, at $160 for the entire value of 4x7, we're only $30 away, man. Wait, would I sell 4x7 for 130? No, I will not. Would I sell 4x7 for 160? Yeah, man. All right. It's the back scratcher. I want it to be a back scratcher for me too, guys. I'm not coming into this in some kind of like, saint. All right. I want you guys to make money adding these little things to your design practice, ideally without murdering your free time or any of that stuff. Just simple little things, or use them as promotional stuff to get new customers, the higher paying ones. Cool. Okay. But I want to make a little bit on this if possible. Okay. I didn't get like loaded on Galaxy Gate. I mean, I'm still like living in like, well, I do have some nice artwork. Have that Barney Rubble over there. I'll show that another time. I had some stuff my dad did. His work there. Oh, check this, man. You know how rare this CD is? Oh, you can't even find this CD. I might have the only CD. I'll bet you that Tommy Boy Records got this CD and they're like, oh, you guys, we gotta destroy all these CDs. And the folks at Tommy Boy were like, wait, why? I said, because it's just too awesome. You see, it's too awesome. And it's just too awesome. I'm going to play it. All right, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it while I sign out. Okay, here goes. Okay, youtube.com. Okay. All right. Hold on. Come on, YouTube. Oh, here we go. Okay. God, I'm so old and sucky at computers. Okay, let's see here. In the search bar, gold money. No, gold. What? Gold money. It's not even coming up. Here we go. You got to type gold money, money. Type gold money, money, because the name of the song is Money. You got to watch the video. This Tupac was in this video, and it's like a backup dancer. Oh, man. Big Money Otis. Dude, Big Money. It's all in here. This is the famous one, man, but it's all in here. Big Money just had that sound, man. His voice. Look, all right. You can hear it here. Let's see if it's even on here. No, they have Rick James's version, but they don't have Gold Money's version of Cop and Blow. All right, let's try this. Daddy Never Left You. I don't even know if Big Money's on that one. No, I'm going to have to. I really would like to put this up. I wonder if they would give me permission to post it. I mean, this kind of music, it shouldn't be lost. It really shouldn't. It's just, it's none of it's on here. The only one I see on here is the one with, is the song Money. Well, what you can do though, you could just type Big Money Otis. Let's try that. It's 2 G's. Okay, try that. Try Big, although they have it wrong here. They have it with 1 G. But if you type in Big Money Otis, yeah, okay, same song. I think he's on same song. Anyway, he's just, he had this voice. It's just real smooth, and it was just metered. He was like that Leeds crew, Made in Britain. He's just like precise, soft, nice, man. It's just like smooth. And honestly, whatever success you have in your life, man, you deserve it, because you just had the sound. You had the sound, and nobody else had that sound like you, man. Okay, go 4bySeven. Everybody swinging in the place as I kick the J's, easy my style. R&B mixing it with the hip hop, straight beat, champagne in my hand, it won't be long.